Hi, Misha here, and I always try to bring you all things Kalashnikov if possible. So today let's talk about the 2021 version of the ZPAP M85. And this is manufactured in Serbia by Zastava Arms, formerly Krena Zastava, back in the Yugoslavian days. And these were first imported, at least versions of them, known as the M85PV and M85NP by Century Arms. But Zastava USA took over some time ago and has been expanding and, in my opinion, improving the production line. Now, the M92 pistol looks very similar, and it's chambered for the traditional 7.62 by 39. But the M85 series, it's chambered for 5.56 NATO 223. And it does have some feature differences and other things. So let's check it out. On top we have the basic version, the M85PA. And on the bottom we have the tactical version, the more Gucci version, the M85TAC. Same base gun, just more things. So let's start here. We have a traditional Yugoslavian Zastava type pistol grip. We have a 1.5 millimeter stamped receiver with bulged front trunnion. We have a 10-inch barrel. It was made using the cold hammer forging process, and yes, this one is chrome lined. It always has been, even the Century imports were. It has a removable muzzle device. It's on the unique 26 millimeter thread pattern. This doubles as both a flash hider and chamber for the gas to expand in to provide additional back pressure, because this is quite a shortened gas system. Now, a standard AKSU, a standard Krinkov, has an 8.2, 8.3 inch barrel, and actually an even shorter gas system. So this having a 10-inch barrel, it's a little bit longer, but still quite short. It does give you a little more handguard real estate. It also has a flip-up low light or night sight. In a military gun, this would have tritium. For a civilian gun, it can either have glowing paint or just a white dot. Like the AKSU, it has a hinged top cover, but the AKSU's has a spring in it. This one's just kind of free-floated. Has a two-position flip L rear and standard mag catch. And since these are brought over as pistols, they come over with a standard mag well. This doesn't need to be machined out. It comes over able to accept standard magazines like in this one here. Originally the series was offered with steel mags, but this is the newer, more modern M21 style mag. Flipping these over, look at a couple more features. It has the notched safety to hold your bolt back. It's a manual device only, but it works well in conjunction with the bolt hold open magazines, because the mag can hold the bolt back, and then you can use this to latch your bolt open and then pull your mag out and then back down to let it go flying forward. It's a bit of a two-step system, not perfect, but considering these have a standard AK magazine, well, it works. Could be worse. One new feature for the current version is there is a short pick rail mounted on top of the cover here, even on the basic version. Also, even on the basic version now, we have a small 1913 rail, Picatinny rail, for mounting an arm brace. So that's the basic version. Wood handguards, comes with one mag in a box, and the standard booster. Now, if you want to up your game a bit, there's the tactical version. Most noticeably, this comes with a brace already mounted here. We have an SBA 3, and unlike the I'll set you down for a second. Galil, unlike the Galil Ace Gen 2, it actually has positions. Yay. Standard pistol grip, standard receiver, still has the same short rail on top. They both come with these polymer mags. Moving forward, it has a quad rail handguard, relatively lightweight, although it is kind of blocky. It does have QD sockets in it. It is Zastava marked, but I believe it's a contracted part. And then we have a removable angled foregrip, again made of metal. Looks to be, I don't know, UTG, Magpul maybe. Either way, ATI could be. One of those things. It's a grip. And then finally, instead of having the basic booster, these come with the night brake from CNC Warrior. Gotta admit, I don't like the look of this brake, but I do like CNC Warrior as a company, so I'm kind of torn on that. So that's the rundown of the two versions. Cost-wise, it's about a $250 difference. So for the extra money, you get the brace, the handguard, the angle grip, and the muzzle brake. Up to you if it's worth it for those 4 parts. I think for some it will be, for others not. Okay, well, enough setting things up. Let's cut over to the range for the very first shots. Alright, first shots out of the M85TAC. That thing does not move. The concussion is insane. And it held open.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed pretty flat shooting.
Yeah.
Well, it smells good.
There's not a ton of history or background for the M85, the military select fire version, but it does and has existed since the 1980s, since the time of Yugoslavia. Some sources claim that they were actually hoping to switch over. They were using 7.62 by 39. Yugoslavia never adopted 5.45 by 39. I don't think they even ever seriously entertained it. By the 1980s, they were moving much closer to the west, and even then, in the comm block, they were a country apart. In fact, they had been kicked out of the Warsaw Pact, as it were. But anyway, I digress. Up here, we have a gun we've shown earlier this year several times, the M90. This is also on 223, 5.56, and is the full-length rifle version. The first steps for a 223 at 5.56 in Yugoslavia by Zastava was the M80. It was an M70 rechambered, reworked for 223. And then they decided to make a compact carbine version. I'm not actually sure if the M80 had the 18-inch barrel or if it had the 16 like the M70. Not really much info out there on the M80. The M90, which is the improved version of the M80, has an 18-inch barrel and would more traditionally have wood M70 style furniture. It too has the 1.5mm receiver, bulged trunnion, chrome-lined bore, yada yada. The M85 would be the short version with the 10-inch barrel, so you are saving about 8 inches in the barrel and the weight. Neither is a lightweight gun. I don't think Yugoslavia or Serbia can produce a lightweight gun, but they can produce a well-built gun. Well, either way, if they were planning to use this for their own military or not, the Civil War got in the way, and that actually led to the M92, a version of this in 7.62 by 39. Now, many say that the guns are identical, except the caliber. Not really true. They look very similar. However, the M85 has the heavy receiver and trunnion. The M92 has a 1.0 stamped receiver and a standard front trunnion. And the M92 has a non-chrome bore, and the M85 was chromed from the beginning. Also, because of a few oddities of the design, and because 223 is slightly longer than 7.62. It ends up that this is a slightly longer gun. Now in the military, of course, this comes over as a pistol, so nothing's here except a brace adapter. In the military, these had underfolding stocks. Yugoslavia, Serbia, they loved them some underfolders. With the stock folded up, overall length was a little over 21 inches. With it fully deployed, a little over 31 inches. Kind of gives you a rough idea. And weight, yeah, these weren't light. About 7.5 pounds. Not dog heavy, but not light. Now, Zastava makes the M85 mostly for export, be it to civilian customers or military customers. Originally, Century imported the Rock and Lock AK mag version as the M85PV, but they also imported a version with an AR-15 magwell known as the M85NP, and those were kind of around for a while. With the Zastava USA guns, they don't really seem to want to do, and I don't blame them, the AR magwell version, but they are offering a total of 3 today, and they're all built on the same thing. You can get this one, you can get this exact gun but with the brace already clamped on, or you can get the full tactical version. The reason I have the tactical on this, the difference between the braced version and the tactical version is only like $50–$60. So it seems like most of the cost increase is adding the brace to these things. With that, let's cut back to some range footage, and then we're going to come back and do a mag test just like we did for the M90 earlier. Now we'll get the gun in J-Ro's hands. Oh, the concussion. I could hear that it held open too.
Yeah, sure did. Man, it's thumpy, but it doesn't climb at all.
No, it's...
No, follow-up shots are real easy.
Yeah. Like I said, this comes into the country with a standard magwell. The M90, along with pretty much any other rifle, comes in with either a single stack magwell or an otherwise modified mag catch and bullet guide. My point is, people complained about the M90 having loose mag fit, but that's because Zastava USA intentionally machined it out a little wide to be a little more accepting. This one has a factory spec well. So let's start with the normal mag, just as a baseline. Figured I'd do it upside down to kind of show. Got a little wiggle play. Again, it's a standard wow, but it locks in, it's fine. It's doing mag things. Nice positive click. So we have our mags lined up. We have our Arsenal 30 round black, Arsenal 20 round clear, Beryl translucent green, and finally WBP. This is one of the 20 rounders, but it'll stand in for those. Sorry I don't have any steel Zastava mags. Wish I did, but I don't. Starting with the black Bulgarian. These do have metal inserts. And if you remember, they didn't. Yeah. It will go in the well, but it doesn't push the latch. And if you notice, it's not locked in. Now, could you file fit it or force it? Probably, but yeah, we're not doing that. Let me flip it over here. I'll try it from a horizontal angle. So I know these can be made to fit, but they don't fit generically. Yeah, no, it'll go on the magwell, and as I pointed out in other videos, it's because of the way this front and the back lugs are shaped. It just isn't really compatible that great with the Zastava mag catch and trunnion. So let's move on. Now the smoke Bulgarian. These are available in 30 and 20. Oh. Again, it doesn't quite push the mag catch back, so if we force it a bit, that's how forward we can go. Let's see if it's at all locked in. Now you notice that is actually in there a little bit. So with a little bit of filing on the back lug, probably would push it back all the way. The reason is the front has a different shape. It's fatter, but doesn't protrude as far forward. Let's flip it around to this angle. Why not? See if it'll go in any better this way. You heard it click just a little bit, so it's just going in far enough to catch it, just barely. And the difference is, yeah, that front section allows it. It's still not a great fit, still needs some fitting. But the thing is, these polymer mags, any brand, any country, they're oversized, but you can always remove material. Much more difficult to add it back. So now let's go to Poland. Current Beryl mag. Originally they had black ones and they went to a clear one that didn't work. Now they do these. Goes in. Still got a little space behind the catch, but not as much. Let's push it a bit. Locks in. And ironically, with less play than the Zastava mag. Let's see how tight it is to get out. Not very, considering this is a new mag. These Beryl mags wear in pretty quickly because there's no metal, so the polymer will kind of wear away, self-sanding. Very Soviet style of parts fitting there. Let the parts do the work themselves. Click. So yeah, that's going in. So since that's going in quite nicely, let's see how it does at the range. Let's try it with the Beryl, the FB mag. Heck, even with the Swiss ammo, it's... It didn't hold open because Polish mag, but yeah. So, no fitment problems, and a test firing with the FB mag, it worked just fine. And again, it fits pretty good. This is the other mag. It's a little stiff, but they will wear in. No problems at all. And finally, we'll give the WBP. This is a 20. They also do a 30. These are relatively new to the market. No click like we heard for the other, but it doesn't push it back too much. Yeah, seems solidly in there. Let's see how it comes out. These WBP mags do seem a little bit oversized, intentionally so, compared to the FB Ratum. I think because the FBs are made specifically for the Beryl, whereas these are meant to be more general 223 AK mags, the Beryl included, but I'm sure they wouldn't have been upset if they fit other guns. Let's see if I can get in here right. There we go. So it's not going to click, but I bet if it wears just a bit. And it definitely seems solid, yeah. It's not going anywhere. So since it's locking in firmly, let's take this and try it out at the range. Now with the WBP 20 round Tinker. Alright. And much as with the FB mag, it does fit tight, but it should wear in just fine. And there were no, if I can get it out here, I'm going to set it down for a sec. And there were no feed issues, at least in the first try there. So this fits actually just a little bit tighter. It has a little bit more wiggle to it because it has a different front latch, but fits Did not require any sanding to go in. With a little bit of sanding, it should actually come in and out very easy, or just, frankly, use. And we've been enjoying shooting this gun. Back to the factory magnet. Of course, the adjustable arm brace is always handy for people at different heights. It's sturdy and stable. The gun had 0 malfunctions all evening. Perfectly alright trigger. Typical AK safety. Again, it does have the bolt holdback features of a typical Yugoslavian pattern. On an empty mag, again the Polish mags won't do this, but on the Serbian it will. And once it's on an empty mag, you can try to use your safety here to hold it back all the way. It's actually pretty easy to do when you're not trying to record this by yourself on a table, but push your safety up and then, oh come on. The reason they use a square, by the way, because if you try to cut it out more, it actually doesn't work very well. There you go. Like I said, it's pretty easy to do at the range. Just in the position I'm in, it's a little difficult. And the nice thing is, it's held open there. You can easily eject your mag without getting in the way. Here's that WBP again, just kind of showing you. Takes a little bit of fiddling, but once it seats, goes in fine. You just kind of have to wiggle it a little bit. And then with the safety system, let it go forward. So the handguard did not really heat up. It's still nice and sturdy. Everyone liked this angled foregrip. It's metal, relatively thin. And the night brake here is exactly what you'd expect. Very, very good on recoil reduction. I mean, it was very still. But of course, concussion and flame are enhanced, to say the least. It's also relatively long and does add some weight. So it certainly pushes some aspects out, but there are some sacrifices if you do it. But all in all, I think people liked the brake for what it is. The standard conical flash hider on the standard edition would probably have a little more felt recoil, a little more rise, but it would be lighter and have less visible flash. So that's kind of up to you. As far as reliability, it was 100%, as I said, and we tried it with quite a range of ammo, including on the low end Tula. We tried it with PPU, and we tried it on the high end with the Swiss SIG ammo, the GP90 stuff. So nice and hot there. Even with the Tula, it cycled, and even with the Swiss stuff, which was quite warm, it had basically no recoil and no muzzle rise, thanks to this big goof-off device. And with that, yeah, let's do one more mag through it, and then it gets dark. Last mag out of the M85, again with the WBP mag.
That one's got a pretty good fireball on it.
Oh, I mean, that had a fireball coming out both sides, didn't it? That was cool.
That was a little more startling to stand next to.
That's that night brake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's dramatic.
Yeah, it's
I think you're still recording.
Yeah.
Yeah, the camera was running a bit there, anyway. But yeah, it stayed good through the day. It's a solid filling gun, and honestly, it exceeded my expectations. Not that I thought it would be bad, but just no issues, and it was quite a bit of fun. I wish we'd had more time. I do want to check one thing, so let's take it apart real quick. Fresh and dirty off the range. someone was saying theirs had a hollow piston head, at least their original Century M85PA. This one, as they were saying, the new Zastavas, they have the solid head. Just a thing to note. Of course, like I said, dirty. The firing pin is not spring-loaded. Pretty standard. Yep. Got a double hook trigger in there. Dirty, but obviously it works well. Feed ramp. And as I said at the beginning, this is not spring-loaded. It's just, but that's how all the Yugoslavian type guns of this type are. So, conclusions. Should you get one? What do we think? Let's wrap this up. Frankly, if you would like a 5.56, a 223 AK Crink style pistol that takes AK type rock and lock mags, and you want it in the tactical configuration, yeah, I think this is honestly a good gun. They don't cost an arm and a leg. They are cheaper than Arsenals or FB imports. Kind of right in there with the WBP guns. Again, the base model is, $1,000 or less. And the tactical model is $1,300 or less. Now, which of the three versions is right for you? That's kind of hard to say. The brace is kind of the big deal. The handguard is fine. At least it's solid feeling. Not too heavy. And comes with a reasonably comfortable angled grip. The brake is a compromise. If recoil and climb are important to you, it will help. But if you're sensitive to concussion, blast, and flash, and maybe weight and length, it may not be what you want to do. Of course, you can remove it. On the other hand, keep in mind these are not threaded 24 or 14 millimeter. They are threaded 26, which is proprietary to Yugoslavian, Serbian Zastava guns. So there are different companies that make devices for these, but your options may be a little limited. The safety, like a lot of these, it works fine. It's nice to have. The mags are fine. You have a standard mag catch. It's not oversized. You do have the nice Yugo pistol grip. You have a typical two-position flip sight, and you have a short pick rail for a red dot, a reflex sight if you want, with more real estate on the quad rail. But since this is on the gas tube, I probably wouldn't try to do a whole lot there. Dimpled 1.5 mil receiver. This should not have any issues with pins egging out. It's the nice solid one. It did not feel overgassed, so the recoil spring feels fine. Yeah, the gun itself, I can't say anything negative about it. It was a lot of fun. It's just, it is a very specific type of gun. So if someone's in the market for this style, it might be a good option. But it's not your classic AK pistol. It kind of does its own thing. But as we proved, it can use Yugo-Serbian mags as well as Polish mags. Bulgarian Arsenal mags probably will fit and function just fine, but will require some sanding and adjustment of the mags. So it's up to you if you want to do that or just buy other mags. Since they're the more expensive ones, it would seem to me a more logical alternative to just buy the Polish ones. But that's just my 2 cents. But it was nice to get it out. Again, it's not a new gun to the market, but we haven't really reviewed it before, and the M90 did well this year, so it seemed a worthy companion. For those of you that do own one of these M85s, we'd love to hear what your experiences are in the comments. Has it been a good one? Do you hate it? Do you love it? Had any minor issues? Let us know. As always, if you could, please like, share, subscribe. We'd love to hear any comments, so do drop those. And if you'd like to help support the channel, please check out the link to the Patreon page. This is Misha. Catch you very soon. Next time.